Trump proclaimed April 2nd Liberation Day when global tariffs went into effect, which makes me wonder, has our country and its taxpayers gotten ripped off for more than 50 years?
Our country and its taxpayers have been ripped off for more than 50 years, but it is not going to happen anymore. It's not going to happen.
Trump calls them reciprocal tariffs. But, Mr. President, what does that mean?
Reciprocal. That means they do it to us and we do it to them. Very simple. Can't get any simpler than that. Again, reciprocal. Back and forth. Back and forth.
Back and forth. Back and forth. Kind of like how you return a beached whale to the ocean. Oh. And what about that old-fashioned term, groceries?
An old-fashioned term that we use, groceries. I used it on the campaign. It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says a bag with different things in it.
Yeah, it's a bag with different things in it. That's how they describe Joy Behar's CAT scan. Oh. But look, Trump knows what he's doing because he runs successful businesses before, unlike the current Dems, who want to tell you how to run your life but show no evidence of how well they've run theirs. Have any of them ever accomplished anything before politics? No. It's degree, law school activist ran over a teenager drunk. It's the Democrat career path. The power comes first, then the money. That's how you get a first lady who insists you call her doctor. But her one patient's been on life support for a decade. Yeah. Remember our last president who spent his entire professional life in government? He doesn't. And the Dem president before that was a community organizer, what normal people call unemployable. Yet now he's got homes in D.C., Hawaii, Martha's Vineyard, with a basketball court for Barack and a weight room for Michelle. Go back further. What did Bill Clinton actually do before government? You know, besides a few dozen hookers and countless lines of coke. Chuck Schumer, the only thing Chuck did besides government is create new ways to kill Batman. Bernie Sanders, the guy lived in a commune before being booted for hoarding soup. There's Cory Booker, whose greatest achievement is going a day straight without peeing. Well, at least he did something straight. What? I don't get it. AOC tended bar before politics, where the most popular order was turn up the TV and stop talking. Before becoming Cardi B with a head injury, Jasmine Crockett was an ambulance chaser. She was an ambulance chaser doing pro bono work for BLM, and trust me, BLM overpaid. Now look at the Trump machine, filled with people who did great things first, then public service. Our current prez built half the Manhattan skyline, and without those buildings, where could the left protest? Then we got the world's richest guy, who also rescues astronauts and helps the paralyzed walk, and other stuff that I do on the weekends. He's even tackling the decline in the world's population, one hot chick at a time. Pete Hegseth, career military, multiple deployments, Fox and Friends host, which some say is worse than two tours in Iraq. There's Howard Lutnick, Scott Bessent, Vivek. They were all about accomplishments first and service later. See, successful people realize that life is a ladder with 2 steps. Level 1, you figure out your life first. Level 2, then you help others. The Dems reverse that. Level 1, solve the world's problems from a position of inexperience. Level 2, get rich off your phony status. Meaning their first level of sacrifice is really just self-serving. You can exploit being a community organizer, but not developing real estate. It's why this idiot became mayor of LA, but not this guy. Under Bass, LA burned to the ground, and since then has issued only 4 permits to rebuild homes. Meanwhile, Rick Caruso, a real estate tycoon, has already launched a new group aimed at expediting the city's rebuild. You can't get a better contrast. It's like a swimsuit contest between Rosie O'Donnell, and a chick. This is why you have to fix your world before you fix the outside world. It's no surprise that leftist activists have awful personal lives. They perform globally, but ignore locally. Oh, let's clean the planet, everyone. I'll shower next week. It would be funny if we weren't at their mercy. The more they try to fix the world, the worse our world gets. That's their only path to equality, making everybody as miserable as they are. Welcome, tonight's guest. He once spent an entire month strung out on hair conditioner, co-host of Fox & Friends Weekend, Charlie Hurd. He's the argument against warning labels on poison, comedian Joe Mackey. He's the reason for background checks, former GOP Congressman George Santos. And finally, she only has one name, just like polio. Host of the Kennedy Saves the World podcast, Kennedy. Charlie, I'm not going to name names, but if you go on X, you see a lot of conservatives melting down in kind of an exercise of like, see how bad this is, see how bad this is. I'm right, tariffs are bad, Trump is ruining the world. And it's like, nothing's happened, you idiot.
Yeah, surprise, Wall Street does not like the tariffs.
Yeah, why don't they like it?
Because, they claim to be free market, but you know what? They have a really hard time explaining it to us dumb people.
Yes.
So that we can. Trump is able to explain it perfectly. And by the way, if you're going to be free market, then why are governments negotiating all these free market deals?
Exactly.
A free market deal would be a deal that we just make among ourselves. I love everything about your monologue, especially the part about, and it's so simple, these people become millionaires.
Yeah.
They come to Washington with nothing, and they leave millionaires. And when Donald Trump first ran in 2015, he would sit down, he hired some people, some political people in town, and he would begin, the campaign would begin every single conference call with their surrogates saying, Donald Trump is a builder. He builds buildings. And everyone on the call would start laughing.
Yeah.
Like, what does this mean? This doesn't mean anything. It means everything. And the American people saw through all of it. He is not a political ideologue. He is a practical guy. And so, and that's why I think that a lot of people have faith in him. You know, obviously the tariffs thing, who knows how all this plays out. But because he's not an ideologue, if it turns out that there are bad things that happen, he will change.
Yeah, and also, I mean, he's been ahead of the curve on everything.
Everything.
So you kind of got to, you have good faith in him. Joe, a lot of people don't know this about you, but you're a comedian. I'm kidding. You're pretty knowledgeable on trade, and I want to ask you a softball question that I asked Harold Ford and that he didn't answer today. Is there any proof that free trade actually pays off for American workers?
No, there isn't. That's the reason that the stock market's going down today, because all the executives and stockholders in these companies that really profited by shipping jobs overseas, where they don't have to face environmental standards, where they don't have to have high wages, have been getting a lot richer than they would be otherwise, where if we had a level playing field. That's what it kind of plays into your point about how a lot of the politicians don't have any real world experience, where there are consequences, where the incentives matter. And when you have two options, one is that you can have your factory in a country with high wages and high labor standards, or face no penalty for having your factory overseas with none of those things. You're not going to pick the high labor standard thing. And I understand that free trade is a good thing in theory, but so is having a rock band that plays funk music and party music, but then when you hear it, it's the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it's terrible. and all these people saying that we're going to lose this trade war, well, the joke's on them. We don't make anything, and it's a national security issue as well. People are saying we're going to go to war with China. How are we going to go to war with the country that makes everything that we need? It's like one of my many lovers attacking me and then asking for access to my body.
So true. So true. George, I have to ask you because I don't have the answer. What did you do before politics? You just kind of showed up.
So I was actually in capital markets here. I worked a couple of blocks away from here, so in professional fundraising. So understand Wall Street well.
So what do you think's going on with the stock market?
The stock market has become it's hysteria because it's run by a bunch of hysterical little bitches. That's literally what we have today. Like, if you look at the CEOs of all the big financial institutions, they're acting like little girls in 7th grade. They're just scared Trump is a prettier girl in the room, if we're to equate it that way. But I think this is all reactionary. And look, I'm not a tariff guy. I'm skeptical, obviously, but I trust this guy. I trust this president. I trusted him the first time. I mean, hell, I voted for the guy 3 times, right? So, and I get to have him 2 terms.
And that was just in November.
You know, so I look at it that we're going to have a good time with this, and I'm excited. But look, Greg, to your monologue, as far as not being able to sleep with Chinese nationals, I'm worried. I need to interrupt the show to go call Eric Swalwell to see what he's doing.
Exactly.
Like, this is going to be a big hit for him.
I know. You know, Kennedy. You know, I think the word for the tariffs is negotiation. And like the media seems to be avoiding that word. It's all about, oh my God, the stock market went down and it's never coming back up.
Yes.
They're insane. They think we're all idiots.
No, and I know there are people who have a lot of money invested in the stock market, particularly people who don't have any other assets and they've got a 401k. And for people who are close to retirement, it gives them a lot of anxiety because they fear that, you know, if it goes down precipitously, they don't have time for it to go back up in order to achieve the number that they want in order to retire. And I totally understand that. And it's not just rich jerks who are invested in Wall Street. You know, the average investor certainly doesn't run Wall Street, but they're hoping to God that this works out. And I guess that's where I am, because there's a part of it that I philosophically disagree with, and I am of the school that tariffs are taxes if they do in fact raise prices on a lot of things that people formerly could afford. But if for some reason, like, I'm completely wrong and this works, I am on America's side here. Like, I want it to work, even if Trump's not president, even if it's some friggin' pinko. If they can figure out a system that works for America and makes people here more prosperous, then I take that as a win.
You know, I understand. When you said that tariffs are a tax, couldn't you say that anything that contributes to the price of something then would be a tax? Does that make sense?
I mean, the fluctuations in the market, like something as simple as
But I mean, like, you know, if you
demand.
decide to use a different kind of paint on your marital aid, that would raise the price. That would be a tax.
I tend to not paint mine because I don't want to get a
What, Joe?
Well, if it was a tax, it's a tax you can avoid by bringing your jobs, your factories back to the United States. You know, there aren't many taxes you can avoid by hiring Americans. I guess, like, maybe Hunter Biden will get American prostitutes in the future.
Yes. And good for him. All right, we got to move on. Up next, Obama backstabbed Kamala.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.